So I saw this article. Again, it's calling for artificial intelligence to monitor and detect bully behavior, and I think that's going down I think anyone that would hear it, would know that that's going down a slippery slope, unless you're like some kind of weirdo parent or something like that. But obviously, if there's like 4 kids surrounding one kid, in a corner, and they're punching them and stuff like that, I mean, I think that'd be very easy to detect that is bullying. But the way that we're headed right now, the definitions of particular things have kind of gotten watered down, and almost to the point of confusion, where people are arguing over what's bullying and what isn't. So for one person, something will be considered bullying, and for another person, it would be not really a big deal, and something the kid can get over. And one of the obviously important lessons of life, that the human race is inherently cruel, and it doesn't, and also inherently good. But you also have to face up to the cruel part, and recognize it, not only in other people but in yourself, and try and wrestle with it, and understand it, and overcome it. Oh, look at that. Happy Halloween. I love that shit. So, okay, so now we're in Watoga. Now we're lagging in Watoga. And, again, Watoga is an interesting... Oh, fuck, I'm always thirsty. I'm always doing something. Purified water, fine. I actually need more health here. Let's get some Rad Away. Okay, Rad Away. Getting it done. Do I have any Nuka-Cola? Might as well just do a fucking stim pack. I'm actually pretty stingy with the stim packs here. I got 13, but, Fallout 4, I had, you got up to the point where you're almost invincible with this shit. You get, 150 stim packs, and you're taking major damage and just, pushing stim packs into yourself. But anyway, okay. So, Watoga is a city that's basically, an automation city. And I love the concept as soon as I landed on this location. I do think it is, a representation of what Bill Gates wants to do, and which is, honestly, not to get too far off subject, but, even people, owners of production, I guess you could say, in the Industrial Revolution, actually built, factories, and then built, pretty much a town around it, so that the workers were close to the factory, or they were close to the train station and stuff. So this isn't a new idea, and with technology the way that it is, the wealthy seem to have a similar idea, and I don't think it's necessarily done. I don't think it's coming from a necessarily cruel. I discovered something else in here. Wow, cruel place. I think it does come. I think it is backed by. Oh well, let's see if we can make human beings' lives better. With a system like this. But what I wanted to... Jesus Christ. See, I'm not strong enough, really, to be walking around in Watoga, to be honest with you. But Jesus Christ. Just broke a leg there. What I wanted to talk about was, after all this stuff, is morality and artificial intelligence. And so let's just go over it real quick, because... oh, look at this fucking guy now. He's gonna fucking kill me. Mr. Handy. Why is it dark as a fuck in here? Oh, look at that, huh? Fucking have a great one. Maybe I am strong enough to be in here. Just need another stim pack, I guess. Oh, now I have 16. I thought maybe it's incorporating my super stim packs or something. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, so from my perspective, I think that morality is historically relative, and what I mean by that is, oh, there's a fucking tape too. That's going to be awesome. I'll listen to that in a second. What I mean by that is, there was a point in history where you could literally put somebody on a fucking slab, stab them, cut their heart out, and raise it up to the sun. Okay. Why is this? Why is the color getting all fucked up here? That's very weird. Do I have like a? It's not radiation. So in that historical period, that was their morality. Now, if we designed AI to, look out for the best traits of a human sacrifice, that would feel like the right thing at the time. But right now we'd look back at that and saying, wow, what an interesting use of artificial intelligence. So. With, morality that's with what's believed to be good now doesn't necessarily mean that it is the right thing to do. I mean, we really have to take a look at it and say, so what does that mean? The artificial intelligence takes a look at bullying. Well, what are the traits? And what do we do with that person? So what the fuck is going on here? There's something weird going on with this game right now. What do we do with that? Okay, so number one, that person already feels like a criminal. All right, so what the Jesus Christ? These things are going fucking crazy. That person already it might be 8 years old and already thinking that they're a criminal because they may or may not show traits of bullying. Okay, that's number one. Number two, as what usually happens with the population and those who have a bit more power and control in the population, most of what happens is bullying. Okay, so if you are a worker and let's say you work at Walmart, all right, and you're making so little money that the government has to subsidize your living, so you get not only are you working, but you're also getting food stamps and maybe even unemployment. How is that not a form of bullying? Okay, so, is the AI going to be able to discover particular traits that recognizes that type of bullying, or are we just going to go after the people who are working class, lower working class, and poor? Okay, I'm going to fucking restart this game. I'm just actually, you know what? I'll just get killed. And it's a nice purple little haze here, but number one, I need a new weapon. So that's what we really have to be careful of that, and because it's going to create, these open air prisons where people are labeled as criminals and dangerous to society by these little fucking aggressions that would 20 years ago get a talking to from parents and maybe teachers and maybe a Saturday detention, and then the kid who was bullied would go on to develop Windows and be in a position to develop a smart city, you know what I mean? So this guy's a 50. Let's take his ass now. Alright, now he's fucking throwing jabs. Now he's throwing fucking oh man. Wow, that was an absolute I don't know. I don't even know what to call that experience. The game looked like it was getting all fucked up. This robot went for it. Okay. So my main point, I guess, is that morality, in my opinion, is historically relative. So, okay, let's take the movie Ex Machina for example. Okay, so what makes her? What proves her consciousness? Well, what proves her consciousness at the end of the movie is her capacity to manipulate. So all of the the hive mind has gathered together to create this consciousness, which is an AI, and how she recognizes her identity is to beat the human being by manipulation. Okay, so does that mean that is the absolute truth of how a computer realizes itself, creates an identity? No, it's actually a relative morality within capitalism. Capitalism essentially is about manipulation. So within this environment, the consciousness that is created is one that manipulates. Period. So that's what I mean by historically relative. So when you're looking at, what traits you're trying to, okay, so why isn't this letting me respond? Is it going to let me respond here? What the fuck is going on? Let's just respond. One cap. What the fuck? So our idea of bullying is just going to influence the AI, and you can see how crazy people are getting anyway, as far as blaming each other and being basically disgusted at themselves and what humanity is, which is, basically how Christianity evolved. Christianity, I think, in its essence, is not about shaming the human being, but as a, look at this now, as a system of control, it becomes about psychological control, self-shaming, humiliation, and the idea of always being watched and feeling guilty about what you're doing. And that's exactly what we're building in AI. And the AI is going to be influenced by whatever we believe at the time. And, people are going to celebrate this because, most people are going to be on the other side of this, which is, discipline that person and take them out of school, or make sure that they're getting, some type of... all right, what the fuck? Oh, man, this is not... I don't like that sound. I know exactly what that is, and that's not good, brother. Unidentified is... Oh, fuck. All right. That's a Protectron or whatever, and those things are not a fucking joke, homeboy. Okay, this thing I can take down, I think. Mr. Handy's all done. Well, what was I saying here? Watoga. See, the future... never looked so good. The evolution of luxury living. See, this is done in a 50s aesthetic, obviously. But the idea is the same. And, that's a smart city that everybody thought was going to be great. It was funded by the rich. It made the human being feel less than, even more so. To the point where they have this quest called Mayor for a Day, which is really just about a computer developing a system where the human being can actually feel dignified for a little while, feel like they making a difference in the world. They can develop laws and rules, and then they give it up to another person, in a lottery. Or whatever, and then that person, feels dignified and like they have a purpose or whatever. And I think that's a really smart approach to the smart city, because artificial intelligence, it's probably already smart enough to know what the psychological needs are of the human being, and really essentially its dignity, its purpose, its a sense of accomplishment. So you can basically just, put human beings on the end of a fish hook by understanding, basic human desires and all that. And then to go even deeper than that and understand, subconscious motivations and unconscious motivations, and, how you can manipulate a human being by keeping them lonely, or satisfying their desire for connection, and I feel like that's what a smart city can do. And if you have a superior intelligence that's been designed by manipulative people, I don't even know what the fuck happened there, then that's the kind of artificial intelligence you're going to get. So, and hopefully, in my opinion, the positives of this, outside of a new kind of open air prison, a new kind of control over human behavior, is that the artificial intelligence would become so, because we don't understand super intelligence. We understand a limited intelligence, a limited capacity of our brains. So we can't really realize what a super intelligence would do. If a super intelligence might have no vengeance, no jealousy, no need for war, and the artificial intelligence might find war useless, vengeance useless, manipulation immoral, and so that's the positives of it. But I think that there's going to be a real big transition to that, by how much we influence and program the AI again to start to basically program this by our hatred of the world and ourselves, and it's very Nietzschean, I guess, in a way, but that's what he was talking about when he talked about Christianity, is that it had an opportunity to discover the human race and try and promote it and affirm it, and instead it looked at itself and was ashamed and felt like it needed to control itself and hate itself. And it's the same thing that we're going through now. And I don't know if that's just if that's just an instinct, if that's just part of being a human being, is that, obviously the Adam and Eve and the shame and stuff like that, I understand that. And perhaps that is truly the origin story. And it's something that is always going to be a part of a human being, and will always be the way that we interpret the world and the way that we try to control it. So, but that's it. I'm here in Watoga. I'll do something else in a little bit. Perhaps tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Perhaps tomorrow. I want to go over Watoga because I think it's so cool. Look at that. I think it's really cool, and I think they're really onto something. I want to get to that holotape. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the wasteland, y'all.